Okay, how to overcome match day nerves. So here's a few tips and tricks I've learned throughout my time wrestling. So, number one, set a schedule of waking up the time you will wake up for match day. Because I remember when I was in college, I would always get, oh, I didn't get enough sleep, yada, yada, yada. And it was because I woke up at 8 or 9. I'd stay up till 1. I'd wake up at 8 or 9. And then match day, one day a week, I wake up at 5 or 6. And even though I didn't cut any weight in college, it bothers you because with nerves, with excitement, with anxiety, all those things that come when you have to wake up and go wrestle multiple people, you're not going to get a lot of sleep. And so the biggest thing I think is if I could go back, I would set my alarm for 6 a.m. every day except Sunday. And I would just stick to that schedule. I would have hard times even going to weights because it was so difficult to wake up that early. So that's my number one thing. Just set a time, wake up at that same time, and simulate it, at least during season, for when you're going to wake up for wrestling, on a match day. Number two. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Number two, simulate match day. So matches are typically on Saturday, usually like duels and stuff. There's not as much anxiety. There's not as much of this, resting problem because you've slept the night before. You've get some time to rest during the day. You're competing at night. It's not an issue. At least it never was for me. If it is an issue, type it down in the comments and I can make a video specifically for that. And I can ask some guys and put some of my best advice out there. But simulate match day. So on your off season, in the time when you're not competing, simulate a day where you come in and you wrestle matches. If that's a Saturday, wake up at 6, go make weight, even though you're not cutting weight. If that's, I don't think you should cut weight more than you have to, but go in and wrestle. Get a couple partners and say, hey, listen, we're going to wrestle 2 or 3 matches. We're going to get a warm up and you're going to simulate it like you would a tournament. If you are fortunate enough to have people that can come in and ref, do that. I think that is a huge advantage. We do that at our club. I did not do that in college, and it's one thing that I really regret not doing is simulating that, because what that's going to do is it's going to get your body and your mind ready and acclimated to the nerves that you're going to have because you've set up a certain time. It's going to get your body and your mind acclimated to, what you're going to have to do as far as that day. You're going to set up your routine. You're just going to figure out what works for you on match day, and I think it's super important to get that simulation in. Just any live rounds that you can get, it's just like in a fight. We sometimes spar on Saturdays during camp because that is when we're going to fight. We cut weight in camp every once in a while. I never have, but I know guys that have. And they'll go do that and they'll simulate the fight day. And I think that's super important. We do that with our club in wrestling as well. Number 3, refocus on how you look at nerves. So the biggest thing for me, and I didn't realize this till I was about a junior in college, is we look at nerves in a negative way. I thought there was a way to get rid of nerves and that if you were nervous, it was wrong. That is not the case. So you need to reposition the way you think about that. Nerves are not a bad thing. Nerves come from a primitive instinct that men and women have of fight or flight. And so when your body is gearing up to do something that it's not used to doing, something that's threatening to your health, your safety, or, in today's day and age, we compete, your body's going to feel a different way because you're not used to it. So that's also why number 2 is helpful, to simulate match day. But, you need to reposition. This is not an attack on me. This is my body getting ready to do something that, to rise to the occasion, as some people say. So reposition the way you think about that. Nerves are a good thing. And that, honestly, for me, whether I'm fighting or whether I was wrestling, that really helped me not be so, what do they say? There's a phrase that you, I'm going to have to edit this part out. Like you can almost overthink things and then it screws it up. I can't remember what the phrase is, but comment below if you think you know what I'm talking about. But basically what you're doing is you're ruining your ability to compete because you've overthought it, because you've overstressed about it. And so you're not going to be able to compete as well. But once you reposition nerves, a mentor of mine, Chael Sonnen, actually learned it from Randy Couture, who is now the owner of the owner and one of the coaches of the gym I go to. He instilled some wisdom, Chael instilled wisdom on me that nerves are not a bad thing. Nerves are a good thing. Nerves are your mind and your body telling you, hey, it's time to get ready for a fight. And if you're getting ready to fight, if you're getting ready to do something competitive, you should feel a little weird. And you just need to reposition how you think of that. Number 4, get a really good warm-up in the day of. So the last thing that you want to do going into your first match is feeling like there was more in the tank that you could have gotten out in your warm-up, or what happens if I get to that 4 or 5 minute mark and I start to get tired. So what will happen in the first match, if that is the first time, you will start to get tired about halfway through where you normally get tired. So if you get tired at around 6 or 7 minutes in a match that you're fully warmed up for, if you don't warm up, you're going to start getting tired about 3 or 4 minute mark. And so you're going to start conserving energy, and you're not going to start wrestling to your fullest potential because you feel it. Your lungs are like, oh, this is not good. So that's why it's really important to get that good warm-up in. And you need to almost overexert yourself in the warm-up rather than underexert yourself. I think there's a good sweet spot, and this is why simulating the match day comes in handy, that you need to work on and you need to find, but you need to probably wrestle live for about 5 to 10 minutes hard. And don't be scared to do that. It's not as bad as it feels like it will. I know for me, I was always scared that if I get a good warm-up in, I'm going to be too tired for my first match. Your second match is always better than your first one because you got the first match out of the way. You're less nervous. So get that out of the way. Go do that. Work out hard. Find a guy that's going to push you. You don't have to go with somebody that's going to kill you, but you need to get your work in for sure. Number 5, cut weight correctly. If you're a guy that cuts weight, I never did. I do now for MMA, but you need to do it correctly. If you're cutting 20 pounds the day before and you're in the sauna and you're in the hot tub, you're gonna feel like shit, honestly. You need to get that out of what you're doing. Go up a weight class if that's what you're doing. Or if you're, a little bit on the pudgy side or that is not your true weight, diet correctly. I don't think you should ever be more than 5 to 10 pounds over your weight class in a college wrestling season, period. Now it's different for, 197 pounder than it is for a 125 pounder. So you need to figure that out with your coaches and your teammates, but you shouldn't be too heavy. You honestly should not be too heavy throughout the season. You should be very lean. And the last bit of weight is just a little bit of water weight and not eating breakfast. That really is the only cutting weight that I personally think any college athletes should do. At the end of the day, you're with an hour to 2 hour weigh-in, you're not going to be that much bigger than the guys anyway. And honestly, who gives a shit? If it's a conversation that you need to have and you need to cut weight to win a national title, go have that conversation with your coach. I don't know you and I don't know what you're going through, but I would say if you're, to overcome some of those nerves, you've got to cut weight correctly. And you don't want to be thinking in the back of your head. The biggest thing is you don't want to be thinking in the back of your head, did I do enough? Okay, so cut weight correctly, diet properly. Don't be in the sauna doing those things that's going to drain your energy. Cut a little bit of weight in the morning. Skip breakfast if you have to, but don't cut too much weight. And the last thing, get good sleep. If you can get good sleep, get it, okay? If you can take melatonin or whatever, try to stick to your nightly routine. You don't want to be overslept, but I know for me, like a lot of times we got roommates for these trips, and sometimes you get guys that want to watch TV. Sometimes you get guys that want to goof around and do stupid things. Try to avoid them as best as possible. If you need to go up to your coach and say, hey, listen, I like to sleep the night before. I get nervous. I want to get my sleep and my rest. Talk to your coach. Get away from those guys if at all possible, but do not let that be an excuse as to why you did not compete well, because it's not the reason. It is just a contributing factor. There's a lot more other things that go into that, but get a good night's sleep. So that is my tips. Those are the things that I think will really help you overcome match day nerves. I hope that helped. If it did, make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment what video you want me to do next. Thank you, guys.